Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our Wednesday night class, 3rd of February, 2021. Our topic later on in the class is going to be the importance of the book of Jubilees. But right now we're going to, I'm going to ask everybody to like and share and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification button. And we're going to do our moment of silence for our Creator and all that He's done, and Lord of Hosts and all He's done and all that they are doing to wake up and regather all Israelites. And then we're going to do our prayer and Psalms and go into our current events. Okay, so with that being said, we do our prayer and then go into do a moment of silence and go into our prayer. O Lord, righteousness and uprightness belongeth unto thee. Therefore we come before thee at this hour, seeking thy face and looking for rightness and uprightness, that we may walk before thee as thy servant David and Solomon and Hezekiah did, that we may walk before thee in truth and in righteousness and in rightness of heart. Give unto us, O Lord, an understanding heart, that we may discern between good and bad. For you possess the powers to turn us, O Lord. For we desire to walk after thee, O Lord, and to keep your commandments and your testimony and your statutes with all our heart and soul, to perform the words of the covenant that was written down by your prophets. O Lord, we allow thy face to shine upon thy people. Hear our plea, hear and do, O Lord. Hide not thy face from us, for we need you so very much at this hour. Peace be unto you.
Yes, yes, hallelujah. Yes.
Okay, with that being said, anybody got let me see where we at. Let me just go.
Yes. Current events, right?
No, let me do this song right quick.
Oh, okay.
In the midst of much confusion, we've decided to unify. We won't let the vision die. We know there is a greater purpose, one aim, one destiny, and we'll all stay aligned to us, preferred by God. Man keep his hand in the hand of God, with woman by his side. Our children will follow, and together in unity we'll shine and glorify God. Together forever we'll glorify God. In unity together we'll glorify God. In truth and in unity. One love, one destiny, one great God family. In truth and in unity. One love, one destiny, one great God family. Yeah. Nothing will ever come between us. Our bond is tight, doing what's required and what's right. We know there is a greater purpose, one aim, one destiny, and we'll all stay aligned to what's preferred by God. Man keep his hand in the hand of God, with woman by his side. Our children will follow, and together in unity we'll shine and glorify God. Together forever, we'll glorify Yah. In unity together, we'll glorify Yah. In truth and in unity. One love, one destiny, one great God family. In truth and in unity. One love, one destiny, one great God family. You gave us back to one another. He opened up our eyes and he gave us the gifts of a Yahweh. We know there is a greater purpose. One aim, one destiny, and we'll all stay aligned to us, preferred by God. Man, keep your hands in the hands of God, with woman by your side, and children will follow. Together in unity we'll shine and glorify God. Together forever. I know we can do it in unity together. Glorify God. Right now, and in unity. Truth and unity. One love, one destiny. One great God family. Together forever. We'll glorify God. In unity together. Unity. Glorify God. We gotta have it. One love, one destiny. You got the glory. Together forever. You know we'll glorify God. In unity together. Glorify God. In truth and in unity. I must be facts. One love, one destiny. Yeah. Together forever, we'll glorify God. In unity together, glorify God. Don't you know it's gonna be alright? It's gonna be alright. One great God. Come on, let's walk together hand in hand. Glorify God. In unity together, glorify God. Right now, in truth and unity. One destiny, one God, one aim, one family. Together. Okay, I hope y'all enjoyed that. We're gonna go into our read the songs right quick. Then we go into our we're going to current events. I'm reading Psalms. Psalm 34 says, "The Lord hears the righteous. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. My soul shall make a boast in the Lord. The humble shall hear thereof and be glad. O magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt his name together. I sought the Lord, and he heard me. I delivered me from all my fears. They looked unto him and were lightened, and their faces were not ashamed. Their poor men cried, and the Lord heard him and saved him out of all his trouble. The angel of the Lord encamped round about them that fear him and deliver them. And taste and see the Lord is good. Blessed is the man that trusteth in him. O fear the Lord, ye his saints, for there is no want to them that fear him. The young lions do lack and suffer hunger, but they that seek the Lord shall not want any good thing. Come, ye children, hearken unto me, and I will teach you to fear the Lord. What man is he
that desire life and love his many days, that he may see good. Keep thy tongue from evil, and thy lips from speaking guile. Depart from evil, do good, seek peace, and pursue it. The eyes of the Lord are upon the righteous, and his ears are open unto their cry. The face of the Lord is against them that do evil, to cut off the remembrance of them from the earth. The righteous cry, and the Lord heareth, and delivereth them out of all their troubles. The Lord is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart, and save such as be of contrite spirit. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivered him out of them all. He keepeth all his bones, not one of them is broken. Even shall slay the wicked, and they that hate the righteous shall be desolate. The Lord redeemeth the soul of his servants, and none of them that trust in him shall be desolate. That's Psalms 34. The Lord hears the righteous. Yeah. So with that being said, I want to shine a light on something right quick. Everybody on this should understand typology, how they went to Tanak and used stories and situations in the Tanakh and brought it to the New Testament and put them on JC. And here go an example right here is Psalm 34, verse 18. It says, well, I'm read 17. The righteous cry, and the Lord heareth, and deliver them out of all his troubles. In 18, the Lord is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart, and saveth such as of a contrite heart. 19, many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivered him out of all of them. He keepeth all his bones. Verse 20, he keepeth all his bones, not one of them is broken. If you go back to the story of JC, remember when they put him on the cross, and then they break none of his bones. None of his bones was broken. Coming right here. So, okay. Yeah, so we're going to go to current events. Anybody got a current event?
Yes. Phil Scott did a show, where he was interviewing that Dr. Angela. Remember I
Okay.
told you about that Dr. Angela is the one that gave information about when they killed that doctor or allowed her to die.
Right.
Okay. Well, this is what Dr. Angela said today. She said she's not a lover of Jesus. I wrote it down somewhere. I've been so busy today, and I tell me where I put it. But anyway, she said she's not a lover of Jesus, and that she be getting like that, I guess, like hate email and that. But she says, if you watch, you already know. She said we're not the same, and that she said she's kind of like teaming up with Dr. Arikana to bring bring nurses to the continent. And also she's going to, I guess, teaching, because she said she's going to be doing training, be like training people. So she's going to be bringing nursing skills training to the continent. And there's a bunch of other uh, diaspora nurses who have joined up with her. And she says she's not going to tell where she's going to be, but she's already bought the land, and she's going to be building, I guess, a school or something there to accommodate the needs within the medical field. And I thought that was good because she also talked about, I believe it was Moses, I'm not really sure, but it was either David or Moses. Anyway, one of them she talked about. I think it was Moses, because she was talking about how some people wanted to stay in Egypt, and he told them, you either come on or you're gonna get left behind. But,
Right.
and she recognizes that there's going to be a mass exodus and everything. And I thought that was so interesting. She said without saying that she was non-Messianic.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting.
Okay. Yeah, anybody else got anything? Okay, I'm gonna play this video on I don't know if anybody aware with they've been they've been having Ti all in the news all of a sudden, trying to denigrate him. So I'm thinking maybe this video right here probably got something to do with it.
Only gonna fight with one of us. God will only fight with one side of this. And if it's and if he fight with us, and guess what? That's all we need. And in the Bible, it said 400 years it said people will be in bondage in a country that you would be strangers in for 400 years. And this is 401. 1619. 1619. That's when slavery started. 1619. So here we are in 2020 and all going on. I happen to be like, I feel like this is ordained. You know what I mean? I think it's the fulfillment of a prophecy. And everybody's saying, yo, we're at war and we're unprepared. We don't have the ammunition. We don't have the preparation. We don't have the strategy. We don't have the leadership. We don't have the, hey, bro, God only gonna fight with one of us. Hey, so as y'all could probably guess or imagine, it's been extremely difficult for me to remain quiet in light of all the things that have transpired and all of the egregious allegations that's been tossed around about me and my wife. But it's a reason for that. And I don't mind sharing it. You see, if a person does not have any right to criminally or civilly have you in court, they have no right. The best thing they can do is get you for a defamation suit, drag you in court, make you pay their legal bill to get you in court. Now, I mean, at this point, man, this is the point where that don't even matter. Okay, but that's the motive, that's the strategy, that's the intention. Say a whole bunch of false stuff about you that get people to believe and make them come out and say they're a liar, they're a liar, they're a liar. And then they can say, see, they call me a liar. That's defamation. And they drag you in court, get you under oath and all that. Because unfortunately right now, it doesn't matter as much what they can prove you did. It matters what you can prove you did. You know what I mean? And that's just an unfortunate place that our society has made it to. But I want to be clear about one thing. Women who have been victimized deserve to be heard. Women, black women in particular, should be supported, protected, defended, and uplifted. However, evil has no gender. People with evil intentions have no gender. A threat comes in all shapes and sizes. I would never treat a woman the same way I would treat a threat. All right? So I think that has to be distinguished. First and foremost, I want to say my wife is a beautiful person with an amazing spirit and a kind heart. She's a devoted mother, and she has a humble soul. She don't deserve it. She don't deserve it. Now, what we're not going to do is open up the door to my bedroom, as you shouldn't have to either. Open up the door to my bedroom for everybody to come in and chime in and make their opinions about what we do and don't do or should or shouldn't do. But I will say this. Whatever we ever have done has been done with consensual adults who into what we into and like what we like. If we want something, we know exactly where to go to get it. We ain't never forced nobody. We ain't never drugged nobody against their will. We ain't never held nobody against their will. We ain't never made nobody do anything. We ain't never trafficked anything. Well, sexually trafficked anything. I ain't never raped nobody. Never raped nobody. Also, I'm gonna tell you what's factual. Tell you what's factual. There have been fake stories put up that blog sites anonymously sent to this person. Blog sites anonymously sent fake stories to this person, and the person posted it as though it was a victim, that they were sure that it was a victim and it has been victimized. And what this does is it dismantles the mechanism that women have created for themselves. You can't weaponize something with baseless claims. These are not stories of actual events. They're not. And I have proof of that. And that's why I said it. I have proof of that. I have proof of people who have gone on live with this person and they later said, man, I just wanted some clout. That's why I can't believe they actually posted this shit. I just wanted some clout. So this is what we're dealing with, man. This is what we're dealing with. And also I pose you a question. How you gonna be a victim and an attacker at the same time? How are you being victimized if you are violently attacking someone? Women who have been victimized deserve to be heard. They deserve to feel comfortable and confident. They deserve to feel supported. And that's supposed to get them to a place where they can show their face and say, this is what happened to me. This is who did it. And so the necessary steps can follow. This is not that. This is not that. I also want you to know it's evil at play. I'm talking about evil. I'm talking like, evil. And there's been a history. We've had a history in dealing with the particular individual in question. We had a history of it, man. Had a history of it. And there is a record of pattern behavior like this. A record, a history of harassment. Not, I'm talking about, listen, this is not my opinion. I'm just saying what's on record. A history of violence on record. And we can't just, weaponize social media to take down people who have families and who communities depend on. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about who have done everything that they can to uplift and help to evolve our communities. We can't tear our people down like that. And this has taught me a lot. This has taught me a lot. But one thing I know, man, I will not be bullied. I am not afraid. I am not ashamed. And I mean, and the truth will be revealed, man. But until then, man, hey, listen, man, any woman out there who's going through things, who have gone through things, you have a story, and you should come forward. You should, but don't lie, because that tear the whole vehicle down. Don't lie. Don't lie. The truth is what needs to be heard. The truth. And I can deal with the truth all day. But at some point, man, it has to be some sort of, it got to be something that happens if you come and make baseless claims that are false about somebody that have a negative impact on them, their livelihood, or their freedom. Something got to be done about that. But I was built for this. I was born to be in this position. I was born to be in this position, to face pressure and sit in the fight, so it benefits others in the future. I was born to be in a position. God put me here for this. So whatever evil has been conjured up to come against me, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. But man, I got a lot of love for everybody who's been calling me and who's been in support of me and my wife. We'll be back to doing us, man, sooner than later. You get what I'm saying? Love and respect.
Okay. Any comments? Anybody got any comments?
Yes.
What you
Well, I would say from what he's saying is that they willfully, knowingly engage in, I guess, activities with said consensual adults. Well, I was taught a long time ago, you never invite a third party into your bed chambers with your mate, because
Right.
that's like defiling the sanctity of the marriage or that union in the first place.
Right.
So uh, there's a lesson for him to learn with that madness, and I call it a madness, even though it was consensual, but it was still madness because that don't line up with the word. I mean, sure, we see our prophets that had many wives, but they were the wives. They weren't, you know, meet somebody out there and invite, or somebody you know and invite. None of that. So a lesson is to be learned by that, you know. And indeed, I do think that they did target him, and as we know, that's how they work.
Right. Right. Yeah. So the thing that I got out of it was, uh, you know, it's like after he brought, he made the post that he know who he is, that he was like a lot of this started, and what the reason I'm saying that is, uh, that's what the thing was they were saying about Michael Jackson right at the end. He had realized it. He had realized that fact too, and what he had did was going to make those tours he had. That last tour he was going to do, that money was for to give to Israelites to help them with their getting out of America. And also it said that uh, Bobby and Whitney had realized the same thing. So we see Michael Jackson gone and Whitney Houston gone.
Right.
And as soon as T.I. made the statement right here, now all these allegations coming up against him.
Right.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of ironic.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anybody else got any comments on that? Anybody else got any comments? Shalom. Okay. I thought this right here was pretty interesting too, because when you start looking at everything that's going on, the reason why I'm gonna play this video is it's got to do with let me play, then we talk about it.
Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, Africa. The exodus began in 2020, beloveds, and the evidence is now coming forward. This is absolutely huge.
Wrong,
and this shows you just how many of our African diaspora family have moved quietly, and not so quietly, back to Africa, just because we're not seeing it in the news. Sometimes we have to read this news back to front, but this is just a confirmation, beloveds, that the seasons and times have totally changed, and something amazing is brewing on the motherland. I swear we have to stop calling it Africa, after general Africanus. We need to get not even the past name, but like the future name. Anyway, those are stories for other days. But now, massive news coming out of the divided kingdom, where they are saying that there has been an epic migrant exodus from the divided kingdom, which has triggered the biggest population drop since, get this, World War II. But you know what? Before I get into that, thank you so much to every single person that has supported us on Patreon. Go ahead and consider supporting us on Patreon, where we release like 3 news stories from the continent every single day. The links are down below. So they claim I mean, this is according to the Economic Statistics Center of Excellence, whatever that is. Their centers there, whatever. They claim that 1.3 million people fled the divided kingdom in 2019. 1.3 million people, and they're saying in London alone, the population fell by about 700,000. Now, the reason they're saying it's foreigners that have left is because as much as there's been like a population, there's been a job decline, etc., etc., there are more Britain-born, that's what they're called, British-born, Mzungus basically, who have now gotten jobs in London, etc., etc. But they're saying most students have fled the divided kingdom. Most workers, especially in the hospitality industry, fled the coronavirus, especially after the second strain came. And did you notice how they tried to make the second strain about, they try to deflect it to South Africa and because now, the divided kingdom has actually blocked 11 South African countries so that the strain doesn't get to them. Although there's also rumors and allegations that the divided kingdom is going to, for the first time, I don't know in how long, close all its borders. But the biggest population decline since World War II has happened. And they say they started leaving in September of 2019. Like they knew, probably those are the elites who I told you are in their caves and everything, just, waiting this thing out, thinking everything's going to be okay. But beloved, that shows you, don't focus on what the Western media is saying. And if you are going to focus on that, look at it with an Afrocentric lens. Look at it with the lens of our people. So when they tell you 1.3 million migrants fled the divided kingdom, you best believe that a big portion of our people were in that number. And I've been seeing, the Instagram videos and the TikToks and the, YouTube videos of, many people who have moved back. Many have gotten in touch with me and they're just figuring out their way. And this is just exciting. And it should serve as confirmation. And if if you're still in Babylon, especially as an African, if you have an African passport and you are in Babylon, get out as quickly as possible, because, there will come a time where you may not be able to leave. So while you can leave, leave. And I know there are some, like our mothers and aunties age who maybe are too connected to Babylon. And that's why those ones, beloveds. Many of our people, unfortunately, if they do not wake up and really smell the freaking coffee, they will fall with Babylon willingly rather than return to to a place, to the motherland, as the motherland gets ready to give birth to a brand new existence for us, brand new reality for us. Stay uplifted, beloveds. Until next time. Tuko pamoja.
Okay. Yeah, so the reason I was playing this is because, like I said, a lot of stuff people sleeping on. When you understand that it was three excursions. When Nebuchadnezzar, the Chaldeans came 3 times, and they took Israelites back to Babylon when they went into the captivity for 70 years. And then when it was over with, it was three departures. You had Joshua and Zerubbabel came out first with a group of people. Then Nehemiah came, and then Ezra came. So the reason I'm saying that is that, Most High says nothing new under the sun. And we came here to America the same way. We ain't all come all at the same time. They brought people to, and they came from different locations from the West Coast, but they got people that ended up in Jamaica and all that area over there, Caribbeans, and then they brought some to Britain at different times, and they brought a bunch of people here in America. So it's the same thing happening now. It's not going to be one big, huge mass exodus. They leaving. They leaving in different in numbers. In different numbers. They migrating out of here. They're leaving out of here, and they're going back to the West Coast. Like I said, there's Jeremiah 29:14. It's nothing new under the sun. He's gonna take us back by the way in which we came, and we're going back to the place where we was taken from. And that's what was taken from the West Coast. We weren't taken from Israel, you know. And like I was saying, so from there we go, go back home. But we're gonna be taken back to the place where we was taken from when we was brought here. So so you can ought to understand. A lot of people got the wrong interpretation of what this exodus is going to be about. But when it's actually, like she was just saying, it's actually unfolding in front of your face. But you got the wrong interpretation of how it's going to unfold. Now, any comment? Any comments?
I said a sign of that is I've just been watching YouTube lately and just looking at like the average American, like preppers and stuff like that, people that's like, not in the word and don't know what's going on.
Right.
They're like defeated, like especially like the Trump supporters and people who was really like 100% go for Trump and was really dependent on him and everything, like the super hardcore Trump supporters and all them.
Right.
Right now, like they feel like America's over and done with it, and they like stacking up canned goods and planning on going in the woods and stuff. So it's just like a sign right there. It's like, damn, like it's crazy. Like that's a huge sign that like America's really done. Like, cause they up and everybody, like, it's crazy. Like I'm just looking at YouTube and everybody's like countenance has changed. All of them countenance has changed.
Right, it's finally registering that this place is in decline. It's for the longest everybody just thought everything was gonna keep going on like it is, but they see it's in decline, and then this coronavirus is really wearing everybody out because of every time they do something, then you get 2 or 3 other variants from it. It's like it ain't gonna it ain't gonna never go away. They wore out because they want to be out seeing it and doing all kind of wicked stuff like they normally do, but they're being confined. And it's killing them.
Yep, and then they have nothing to look forward to. Think about it, like all these 401ks, all these pension funds and all that stuff. That stuff is unfunded. And all that stuff was in dollars, and it's it's going down in value by the day. That stuff's not funded. Right. Even Social Security and all that stuff, they don't have that money. Like that's imaginary money, and that's a problem right there. They can't even pay those people. It's kind of funny to think about. It's about to it's a lot of problems. It's about to come out.
Right, exactly. Right. Yeah. The economy. Like I was saying before, people ain't paying no attention, but you gotta know the economy is jammed up.
Like no tax revenue. Like where's the taxes? Like everybody's sitting at the house. Like not moving. So like no city is making money, no state is making money, no federal. Like what? There's nobody making any money to pay out. Like even for the military, they just paying the military out of pocket.
Right.
No tax revenue. Nobody's working. Like where's the tax revenue coming from? Like and then all the Trump still didn't bring any of the companies back from China, so we don't have all the firms and everything shut down. All the business buildings, if you drive around any city, all your big major skyscrapers and everything completely empty. It's just lights on in there. Nobody's working in those, really. You go to downtown, nobody's really hustling and bustling like that. So you just got to think about all this money that's not being made on a normal day-to-day basis. There's a lot of derivatives that's attached to that when it comes to the stock market, all that stuff. It's just a lot that goes into it. Like I used to study that stuff.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it's about to turn upside down because it ain't and they can only print so much money.
Yeah, it's basically Rome again. That's how Rome fell the first time they debased their currency. They doing the same exact thing. They debased the currency the first time.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So what I want to do? Anybody else got anything on that? Yeah. So what I want to do was connect some dots right quick for some two different situations. Well, the first one is it's in Daniel 8. Yeah, I kind of stumbled up on this, so I'm gonna try to deal with it. So I'm gonna read Daniel chapter 8 first, and then I'm gonna go into it. It says, "In the third year of the reign of King Nebuchadnezzar, the vision appeared unto me, even unto me, Daniel, after that which appeared unto me at first. And I saw in a vision, and it came to pass when I saw that I was at Shushan in the palace, which is in the province of Elam, and I saw in a vision, and I was by the river Uliah. Then I lifted up mine eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram which had two horns, and two horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. And I saw the ram pushing westward and northward and southward, so that no beast might stand before him. Neither was there any. Okay, yeah. It says, neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand, but he did according to his will and became great. And as I was considering, behold, a he goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth and touched not the ground. And the goat had a notable horn between his eyes. And I came to the ram that had the two horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran unto him in the fury of his power. And I saw him come closer unto the ram, and he was moved with clover against him, and smote the ram, and broke his two horns. And there was no power in the ram to stand before him, but he cast him down to the ground, stomped upon him, and there was none that could deliver out of the ram out of his hand. Therefore the he goat waxed very great, and when I was strong, it says, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken, and for it came up four notable horns toward the four winds of heaven. And out of one of them came forth a little horn, which waxed exceedingly great toward the south, toward the east, and toward the pleasant lands. So, verse 9, we already went through this before, but I got some more revelations on this. It says, 9 says, and out of one of them came forth a little horn. We know that this Antioch Epiphanes, right? Then it says, which waxed exceedingly great. So this is another thing right there. Toward the south, that's in Daniel chapter 11. You had, when Alexander died, up here in verse 8, his kingdom was divided up into four parts. Ptolemy had Egypt, which was the south. He's the king of the south. And so we know Antioch Epiphanes, once he conquered Israel, he left, and he made a covenant with them, and then in the middle of the week, he left and went to Egypt and fought against Ptolemy and won. And so now he's controlling Egypt and Judea. That's what it's telling you right here. It says, and out of one of them came forth a little horn, which waxed exceedingly great. Toward the south, he conquered this Egypt, and toward the east, he had conquered Israel. He was controlling both lands, and toward the pleasant land. So he controlled the Israelites. Anyway, so verse 18 says, and it waxed great, even to the host of heaven, and he cast down some of the host of the stars to the ground and stomped upon them. Now this is what I want to show you right here, verse 11. Yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host. So see right there, the prince of the host, where if you go down to Daniel 8 and 25, it says, and through his policies, he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. He's still talking about Antioch Epiphanes. It says, and through his policies, he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. He shall magnify himself in his heart, and by pieces he shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. Notice this prince of princes is in a capital letter P. So that's That's the Lord of hosts. He a prince. He's the prince of all princes. You got princes all over the place. At one time, Antiochus was a prince in Rome. When his daddy died, he became next in line to be the king. And so we know Michael is a prince, but he's a prince of all princes. David was a prince, and Solomon was a prince at one time. He became king. But anyway, so the reason I'm showing you that in 25 is because to go back to 11. And it says, yea, he magnified himself, this Antioch Epiphanes. He a prince. Let me read that right quick before I go forward. You go to Daniel 9:25 and 26 says, and after 62 weeks shall the Messiah be cut off, but not for himself, but the people of the prince. See that lowercase that shall come. That's Antioch Epiphanes. Shall come and shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood. And until the end, wars and desolations are determined. So that happened. Antioch Epiphanes came and did that. But right here in verse 11, yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host. That's the prince of the temple. That's the high priest. See, it's lowercase. See that? It says, yea, he magnified himself to the prince of the host. So you got the Lord of hosts. He's over all the angels in heaven. But this is a prince with lowercase. This over the host, this Israelites. So it says, the prince of the host, and by him. See that? How you know that this the high priest? Because it says, and by him the daily sacrifice was taken away. Well, who in charge of the daily sacrifice? The high priest. He over all the Levites. So he came in and magnified himself to the high priest in Jerusalem, right? And by him the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of the sanctuary was cast down. See that? So the high priest is over the sanctuary. You know, just yesterday morning, this hit me right here. Reason I'm sharing it with you guys. So 12, he says, and a host was given him against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgression. So because the Levites, like I told you, Isaiah 53 is the Levites and the priesthood. They're the ones that's over sin. They're the ones the Most High responsible for teaching Israel and guiding them from having sin. And he said that if sin do come in Israel, the sin is upon the Levites. He's going to be on their head. Let me look at that right quick. There might be some people on here that I haven't showed them this. So in Leviticus, I'm going back to Daniel in a minute, but I want to show you this. I don't want you to think I'm concocting this on my own. Maybe numbers. See that quick. Yeah, Numbers 18. Numbers 18, I'm starting at verse 1. And the Lord said unto Aaron, thou and thy sons and thy father's house with thee shall bear the iniquity of the sanctuary. That's where Antioch Epiphanes just came to. So when he came there, the high priest there, that's the prince of the host in the sanctuary, the Levites. He says, and the Lord said unto Aaron, thou and thy sons and thy father's house with thee shall bear the iniquity of the sanctuary, and thou and thy sons with thee shall bear the iniquity of the priesthood. And thy brethren also of the tribe of Levi and the tribe of thy father bring thou with thee. So all these responsible for sin in Israel, right? This who is rising early and he's sending them. These right here, these Levites and priesthood, right? And like I was saying before, now that we being awakened, everybody ain't no Levite. Everybody ain't no Moreh. So he says that they may be joined unto thee and minister unto thee. But thou and thy sons with thee shall minister before the tabernacle of the witness. So let's go in today, right? Since we there. So he says, 2, 18 and 2 says, and thy brethren also of the tribe of Levi and the tribe of thy father, bring thou with thee, and that they may be joined unto thee and minister unto thee, right? And shall minister before the tabernacle of the witness, right? So let's look at that right quick. So he says before the tabernacle of the witness, and the people that had been on this line, I showed you how, I revealed you how who the Lord of hosts was. So I'm gonna take you to a verse where he's talking, and he crying out, trying to tell you who he is. There's a lot of people fumbling with it. I'm in Isaiah. So he dealing with them at the tabernacle of the witness. That's a place within the holy, in the temple. So I'm in Isaiah 43. I'm in Isaiah 43 verse 10. So he says, "Ye are my witnesses," talking to the Levites and the priests, because he dealing with them over here in verse 2. It's 18, Numbers 18 and 2. "And thy brethren also of the tribe of Levi and the tribe of thy father, bring thou with thee," this Aaron's seed and the Levites, "with thee, that they may be joined unto thee and minister unto thee. But thou and thy sons with thee shall minister before the tabernacle of witness." That's where the Lord of hosts at. So he tell them over here in 43 and 10, "Ye are my witnesses." Where they at? They at the tabernacle of the witnesses. He talking to the Levites. And so, like I said, once you see that, then you go to Isaiah 53, and then you see who the son of servant is. Verse 53, Isaiah 53 and 1 says, "Who will believe our report? And to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed?" It's to the Levites. Priesthood, rising early and sending them. And so they didn't twist it around, and started and got you thinking that's JC, but it ain't. That's why he says over here. Let me give you another verse. That's why he says right here in Isaiah 53, let me see, 11. "He shall see the travail of his soul and shall be satisfied by his knowledge, and shall my righteous servant justify many, for he shall bear their iniquity." See that? He shall bear their iniquity. We just saw who bearing iniquity. "Therefore will I divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoils with the strong, because he hath poured out his soul unto death, and he was numbered with the transgressors, and he bore the sins of many, and made intercession for the transgression." Now, let me find the verse I was looking for. I didn't see it. It says, verse 7, 53:7 says, "He was oppressed, he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as sheep before the shearers is dumb. So he opened not his mouth. He was taken from prison and from judgment, and he shall declare his generation, for he hath cut off out of the land of the living, for the transgression of my people was stricken. He was made, and he made his grave with the wicked, and with the rich in his death, because he had done no violence, neither was there any deceit in his mouth. Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him and to put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering unto sin, here you go right here. So it says 10, yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him." See, you thinking it sounds real smooth. You thinking it's JC, right? So then it says, "and please the Lord to bruise him. He hath put him to grief. When he shall make his soul an offering to sin, he shall see his seed." They already told you off the top, JC ain't got no seed. JC ain't had no children. So whoever this is got seeds. This is Levites. So he says right here, he shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days, and pleasure of the Lord shall prosper his hand. So we see that. So anyway, like I said, I'm going back to, I wanted to show you that that this was in Daniel chapter 8. Let me get back over here. In Daniel chapter 8, verse 11 says, yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host. So we see that's lowercase. That's the high priest that's in the temple. He over the sanctuary. And Epiphanes came in the temple and magnified himself to this high priest. He in charge of the temple. And then we're gonna keep going. And by him, and Epiphanes, the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down, place of this prince of the host, or the high priest, and the host was given him this Epiphanes against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgression, because the Levites transgressed or was sinning. That's why they came. That's why he brought them. And so, and it was cast down. The truth was to the ground, and practice and profit. Then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto the certain saint, which spake, how long shall it be, shall the vision concerning the daily sacrifice and the transgression and the desolation to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden down? And he said unto me, unto 2,300 and 2,300 days, 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. So you say, what are you talking about? Well, one day with the Lord is 1,000 years, right? But we see right here, 2,000 years and 300 days. So that's 2 days and two days and a half, pretty much. So let's go to, like I told you, these minor prophets talking to us. That's what they got us throwed off at. We all over here in Isaiah and all that Daniel, and they ain't talking to us. Let's go to Hosea and see if Hosea gonna match this up. I'm in Hosea chapter 6. Hosea chapter 6. All these minor prophets came out of Babylon with Zerubbabel. Chapter 6, verse 1. Come, let us return unto the Lord, for he hath torn, he will heal us. He hath smitten, he will bind us up. After 2 days. Well, they go to 2 days over there in Daniel 8 and 14. 2 days, right? Let's look at after 2 days, he will revive us. And in the third day, see that? In the third day, he will raise us up, and we will live in his sight. Well, there it is right there. 8 and 14 says, Daniel 8 and 14 says, he said unto me, until 2,300 days, then shall sanctuary be cleansed. So that's 2 days and 300, 2 days for, it's according to the presence of the Lord, and 300 in the middle of the third week, middle of the third day, he's gonna raise us up. That's what Hosea telling us. So we looking right at it. You gotta understand what's going on. So anyway, I read that in order to go to Daniel chapter, not Daniel chapter 8, but I want to go to Joshua chapter 5, Joshua. And I'll just, show you what I'm talking about this. It said Prince, lowercase. And you gotta be able to spot this, because you're gonna be all over the place if you don't. So we in Joshua chapter 5, verse 13. And it says, and it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him with a sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went unto him, said unto him, art thou for us or for the adversary? And he said, nay, but as captain of the host of the Lord, I am now come. Joshua fell on his face to the earth and did worship. But we already see right here, this ain't no man, it's an angel. And it says, and he fell on his face to the earth and did worship, and said unto him, what saith my Lord unto his servant? And the captain of the Lord's host said unto Joshua, loose thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place wherein thou whereon thou standest is holy. And Joshua did so. So now I want to read. You say, well, why you reading this? Now I'm gonna read chapter 6, and it's gonna make it plain. Say, now Joshua was straightly shut up because of the children of Israel. None went out and none came in. And the Lord said unto Joshua, see, I have given into thine hands Jericho, and the king thereof, and the mighty men of valor, and ye shall compass the city. Everybody know the story about Joshua walking around the city. It says, all ye men of war, go round about the city once. Thus shalt thou do 6 days. Right? So then 14, 4. The 7 priests, and 7 priests shall bear before the ark 7 trumpets of ram horn. And in the 7th day ye shall compass the city 7 times, and the priest shall blow with the trumpet. So see all these 7s? Let's look at it again. And 7 priests, right? We know the priests bear the iniquity. 7 priests shall bear before the ark 7 trumpets of the ram's horn. And on the 7th day ye shall compass the city 7 times, and the priest shall blow with the trumpet. And it shall come to pass that when they make a loud blast with the ram's horn, and when ye hear the sound of the trumpet, all the people shall shout with a great shout, and the walls of Jericho or the city shall fall down flat, and the people shall ascend up, every man straight before him. And Joshua the son of Nun called the priests and said unto them, take up the ark of the covenant, and let 7 priests bear 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the ark of the Lord. And he said unto the people, pass on and compass the city, and let him that is armed pass on before the ark of the Lord. And it came to pass, when Joshua had spoken unto the people, that the 7 priests bearing the 7 trumpets of ram's horn passed on before the Lord, and blew the trumpets. And the ark of the covenant of the Lord followed them. So let's look at this, because just like when Moses told Joshua, when the Lord of hosts told Moses to go down and strike the rock for the water to come out, but he told him, I'll be standing there on the rock. But we've been reading over that. So Moses see him on the rock, and Moses got angry at the people because they was murmuring and struck the rock, and that's the reason why he couldn't go into the Holy Land, because he seen the Lord. The people didn't see him, but he seen him standing up there on the rock. Well, let's look at this right here, verse 8. Joshua 6 and 8. And it came to pass, when Joshua had spoken unto the people, that the 7 priests, he told them up here earlier what to do. So it came to pass, when Joshua had spoken unto the people, that the 7 priests bearing the 7 trumpets of the ram's horn passed on before the Lord. He's standing there, they don't even see him. See that? He's standing right there. They passed. Joshua see him. This why these Levites and all them is responsible. The iniquity is on them because they see him. The rest of the people don't see him. So who else gonna be the suffering servant? Anyway, it says, and the 7 trumpets of the ram's horn passed on before the Lord. He's standing right by him. And it blew the trumpets, and the ark of the covenant of the Lord followed them. And the armed men went before the priest that blew with the trumpet, and the rearward came after the ark, and the priest going on, blowing with the trumpet. And Joshua had commanded the people, saying, ye shall not shout, nor make any noise with your voice, neither shall any word proceed out of thy mouth, until the day I bid you shout, then ye shall shout. So the ark of the Lord compassed the city, going about it once, and they came into the camp and lodged in the camp. And Joshua rose early in the morning, and the priests took up the ark of the Lord, and 7 priests bearing 7 trumpets of ram's horn before the ark of the Lord went on continuously and blew with the trumpet, and the armed men went before them, but the rearward came after the ark of the Lord, and the priests going on and blowing with the trumpet. And the 2nd day they compassed the city once and returned into the camp. So did did they 6 days. And it came to pass on the 7th day that they rose early about the dawning of the day, compassed the city after the same manner 7 times. Only that day they compassed the city 7 times. And it came to pass at the 7th time, when the priest blew with the trumpet, Joshua said unto the people, shout, for the Lord have given you the city, and the city shall be accursed, even it and all that are therein, to the Lord. Only Rahab the harlot shall live, and she and all that are with her in the house, because she had hid the messengers that went. And ye in any wise keep yourselves from the accursed thing, lest ye make yourselves accursed when they take the accursed thing and make the camp of Israel accursed and trouble it. But all the silver and the gold and the vessels of brass and iron are consecrated unto the Lord. They shall come unto the treasury of the Lord. So the people shouted with when the priest blew with the trumpet, and it came to pass when the people heard that the sound of the trumpet, and the people shouted with great shout, that the walls fell down flat, so that the people went up into the city, every man straight before him, and they took the city. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in this, and I want to clarify it. So over and over again, I keep showing you Exodus chapter 23 and 20, where the Most High told Moses, is an angel that's talking to you. Listen to him, obey his voice. He's and listen to him. My name is in him. Well, we see right here, Joshua talking to him in verse 2, Joshua chapter 6, verse 2. And the Lord said unto Joshua, see, you think Joshua standing there and the Lord somewhere else on top of some mountain talking to him, but he's standing right there. He conversing with him. And then how we know that? We get to verse 8. And it came to pass, when Joshua had spoken unto the people, that the seven priests bearing the 7 trumpets of the ram's horn passed on before the Lord. He's standing right there. So let's go in. Let's go all in on this. So let's go to 2 Samuel right quick. So we're gonna make this plain. 2 Samuel chapter 7. We saw Moses. He was standing right there with Moses on the rock. It ain't Yahweh. So I'm in chapter 7 of 2 Samuel, and at verse 3. David want to build the Lord of hosts a house. Because, like I said, David see him. He been talking to him. He been walking with him all this time. That's the reason Moses built the tabernacle in the wilderness. So he have a place to reside. Yahweh up in heaven. The whole expanse of heaven is where Yahweh is. So verse 4 says, David wanted to build him a house. And then Nathan told him, go ahead, build him a house. He didn't go and inquire the Lord about it. So verse 4 says, it came to pass that night that the word of the Lord came unto Nathan, saying, go and tell my servant David, thus says the Lord, shall thou build me a house for me to dwell in, whereas I have not dwelled in the house since the time that I brought up the children of Israel out of Egypt, even to this day, but have walked in a tent. That's what I just said, right? And in a tabernacle. So, all right. So he told him, now therefore, verse 8, therefore shalt thou say unto my servant David, thus says the Lord of hosts, telling you who it is, ain't Yahweh. I took thee from the sheepcote, from following the sheep, to be ruler over my people Israel, and I was with thee wheresoever thou wentest, and I have cut off all thy enemies out of thy sight, and have made thee a great name, like unto the name of great men that are in the earth. So we've been over this before. I'm in verse 17. Now, just like Joshua was standing there talking to him, the other people don't see him. So I'm in 17, 2 Samuel 7. According to all these words, look at this, and according to all this vision, so did Nathan speak unto David. Now look what David do. Then went King David in, sat before the Lord, and he said, who am I, O Lord God? Say Yahweh. And what is my house that thou hast brought me here to? So we see now David went in there and sat down in front of him. They ain't in Walmart nowhere. They sitting right there and talking to each other. He's standing right there. It ain't Yahweh. And then you go to verse 24. David in there talking to him. All this from 17 all the way to 24, 29, he's talking to him. But I'm going to pick it up in 24. For thou hast confirmed to thy servant. He ain't talking to Yahweh. For thou hast confirmed to thy servant, for thou hast confirmed to thyself thy people Israel to be a people unto thee forever. This is the Lord of hosts. Israel was given to him by the Creator, and thou, Lord, art become their God. See that? Now we see just what this God is. Thou hast become a El. See, this God is throw you off. Michael, El. He's an El. So thou hast become a El. 25. And now, O Lord God, the words that thou hast spoken concerning thy servant and concerning his house, establish it forever and do as thou hast said. And let thy name be magnified forever, saying the Lord of hosts, it's plain, is the God, the El over Israel. And let that house of thy servant David be established before thee. For thou, O Lord of hosts, the El of Israel, has revealed to thy servant, saying, I will build thee a house. Therefore, has thy servant found in his heart to pray this prayer unto thee. So David found out who he was, and then he said, you the one I need to be praying to. So now I know who to pray to. You can sit down and talk to him. Let's go one more place. Then we're going to go into the lesson. Exodus chapter 3. I'm back doing the understanding. So, Exodus chapter 3. Exodus chapter 3, the burning bush, says, now Moses kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert, came to the mountain of God, even the Horeb. So let's look at that. We ain't gonna fumble with it. So now Moses kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert, came to the mountain of God. Yahweh ain't on no mountain. These Els on mountains. That's why these giants, they fathers up on these mountains. Those 200 angels in the book of Enoch was up on Mount Hermon. So they up on these mountains. That's where the high places is. They going up there to worship these angels. It's Els on top of mountains. Yahweh ain't on a mountain. So back to this word I'm talking about, God. He says, now Moses kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert, and he came to the mountain of this El, of this angel, Michael, on this mountain. It says, even to Horeb, right? And the angel of the Lord, see, it's an angel there. Ain't Yahweh, Yahweh ain't on no mountain. These angels on mountains. Even Zeus on Mount Olympus. So it says two. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him, because he's mountain. It says him in a flame of a fire out of the midst of the bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush was burning with fire, and the bush was not consumed. And Moses said, I will now turn aside to see this great sight, while the bush is not burned. And when the Lord saw that the bush, they turned aside to see God. See that? So what this angel see, Yahweh see. Yahweh in heaven, he can see what he see. So when the Lord saw, this Michael, when the Lord saw that he turned aside to see, then Yahweh calls, he's looking too, through him. But the angel is there. Then he says, then Yahweh called unto him out of the midst of the bush, right? And said, Moses, Moses, here I am. So let's break this down. So now when you understand why when they see David, that's why they bowing down. They can't see the angel. They can't see him, but they see David. David is the power. So why they getting down when they see Michael? They see Michael, but the power is Yahweh. They can't see Yahweh. They can't see, when they see David, they don't see Michael, but the power behind David is the El, the Lord of hosts. And that's what everybody throwed off it. And that's why he's saying, let me give you one more verse. Then we'll be through it. I'm in Exodus. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, Exodus 23. Here's an example right quick. Again, frame 8. So 23 says that 23 and 20 says, behold, I send an angel before thee to keep thee in the way, to bring thee into the place which I have prepared, right? So then you go over here and it says, let me see. Yeah, 27. As Exodus 23 and 27. I will send my fear. This Yahweh talking to Moses on Mount Sinai. He just told him over earlier in 20, I'm going to send an angel, listen to him, obey his voice. In 27 right here, I will send my fear before thee, and I will destroy all the people to whom thou shalt come, and I will make all my enemies turn their backs on thee. So who the fear? Who's the fear? The Lord of hosts. The Lord of hosts right here. This is fear in Yahweh. So he just told him in 23 and 20, he sent an angel. Now he says right here, I will send my fear before thee. Who before them? The angel. It's the Lord of hosts with the sword.
Right.
But you have to understand. Okay. Okay. So before we go into class, anybody got any comments on what I just said? Everybody good? Okay. So, all right. So we're gonna go to I want to shine light on the importance of the Book of Jubilees. Okay. Yeah.
Have y'all seen the movie Dogma?
Is that an old movie?
Yeah, it's an old movie. They have they show they put a lot of truth in that movie. It talks about how God sends his angels to talk to humans and stuff. The Last Zion. It has like a lot of stuff in there.
Right.
Yeah, they put
Dogma.
it's crazy.
Dogma.
Yeah,
yeah. I think I started watching it, but I didn't watch all of it. I'm gonna go back and look at it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Okay.
And it talks about how angels, like a lot of angels, I think one of the angels was called Muse, and she makes like a lot of movies and stuff. Shoot, like in Hollywood, I guess, or something like that. She she makes movies, and then I think she puts secret, she puts a lot of truth in it. People just think it's entertainment though, but they put a lot of truth in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out.
Yes, sir.
Me too.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give a little review on the Book of Enoch. I mean the Book of Jubilees right quick. It says the Book of Jubilees, also known as the Little Genesis and the Apocrypha of Moses. So why is it called Apocrypha of Moses? Because it was on Mount Sinai that the Yahweh told Michael to give Moses all the history of the world from beginning all the way up to Mount Sinai, but they didn't know it. So this was going on. That right there in itself, you should do a double take right there. But he says, opens with an extraordinary claim of the authorship. It is attributed to the very hand of Moses, penned while he was on Mount Sinai, as an angel of God dictated him regarding those events that transpired from the beginning of the world. The story is written from the viewpoint of the angel. The angel. So you got all the prophets that wrote down books, but what people don't know is the Lord of hosts got a book. So he says the angel. The story is written from the viewpoint of the angel. It's the Lord of hosts. The angelic monologue takes place after the exodus of the children of Israel out of Egypt. The setting, look at this, the setting is atop of Mount Sinai, where Moses was summoned by God. The text then unfolds as the angel reveals heaven's viewpoint of history. We are led through the creation of man, Adam's fall from grace, the union of the angels and the earthly women, the birth of demonic offspring, the cleansing of the earth by the flood, the astonishing claim that man's very nature will somehow change, bring about a man with less sinful qualities than the antediluvian counterpart. The story goes on to fill in many details in Israel's history. That's what we need. Ending at the point in the time when the narrative itself takes place after the Exodus. Okay, let's see what else I need. Okay. Okay, yeah. So let me look, I got something else to read. So it says, circumcision is emphasized in both humans and angels. The Book of Jubilees reveals the fact that the angels were circumcised. So it takes you back to Genesis 1:26 to find out who the us is in Genesis 1:26. Let us go down and make man in our image. So they came down and made man in their image, the seventh. So when it tells you right here, these angels was when he formed them and when he created them already circumcised. So we got to catch up with them. That's why later when the covenant was made with the Israelites, they had to be circumcised. So then it says the Book of Jubilees confirmed that what can only be inferred from the books of Ezra, Nehemiah, Zechariah, that the law and those who carried it out were supreme. This is the problem right here too. Like he said, the Israelites were supreme. So now you understand why we catch so much hell. Everybody else know that. They know that we are superior race, a different race, a called out race. We're not a race. That's why we catch so much hell. So anyway, with that being said, I want to go through some points in here and shine light on some things. The reason why this book is being ostracized, just like Enoch is being ostracized and Jasher, because this is where all the meat at. You can't even deal with the Tanak until you deal with these books. So Jasher solidified the book of Enoch. I'm gonna read that right quick. It's in it's chapter 4. I'm starting at verse 17. It says, he's talking about Enoch. Let me read 16, verse 16. In the 11th Jubilee, Jared, this Enoch's father, took to himself a wife, and his name and her name was Baraka, the daughter of, I don't care say that name, Rizuzah, daughter of his father's brother, in the 4th week of this Jubilee, and she gave birth to a son in the 5th week, in the 4th year of the Jubilee, and called his name Enoch. And here we go. Enoch was the first among men that are born on the earth who learned writing and knowledge and wisdom, and who wrote down the signs of heaven according to the order of their months in a book, that men might know the seasons of years according to the order of their separate months. So he was stowed on that till Enoch was taken up. So this is how important Enoch is. He was the first who wrote the testimony and testified to the sons of men among the generations on the earth, and recounted the weeks of Jubilees, and made known to them the days of the years, and set in order the months, and recounted the Sabbaths, the years, as we made them known to him. This Melchizedek, right? So 19, and what was said, what was and what will be, he saw in a vision of his sleep, and it was as it will happen to the children of men throughout their generations until the day of judgment. He saw and understood everything. Well, check this out. It's going to cancel out JC in the New Testament. It says, and what was and what, this is what he saw, and what was and what will be, he saw in a vision of his sleep, as it will happen to the children of men throughout their generations until the day of judgment. So from any time all the way to the day of judgment, it ain't happened yet. He was shown everything. So, like I say, what we need somebody else to come down and tell us anything when it was all pure to Enoch. So it says, and he saw everything, he saw and understood everything, and he wrote his testimony and placed the testimony on the earth. Look at this testimony on the earth for all children of men and for their generation. In the 12th Jubilee, in the 7th week of it, he took himself a wife, and her name was Ada, the daughter of Denel, daughter of his father's brother. And in the 6th year, in this week, she gave birth to a son and called his name Methuselah. He was with the angels of God these 6 jubilees of years, and they showed him everything that is on the earth and in the heavens and the rule of the sun, and he wrote down everything. And he testified to the watchers who had seen with the daughters of men, for these had begun to unite themselves so as to defile with the daughters of men, and Enoch testified against them. So this in the book of Jubilees, it's justifying and solidifying the book of Enoch. They working hand in hand. So why would you not read this? So anyway, another point is the Gentiles. We've been told that the Most High brought the Gentiles in. And I explained to you who the Gentiles was. The Gentiles is Cain's descendants. And Most High ain't got nothing to do with Cain. So I'm going to read this right here. This is why they don't want you to deal with the book of Jubilees right here. What I'm going to read. So this is in a minute. It says in let me get the chapter so you know what chapter it is. Chapter 22. Starting at verse 16. It says, my son Jacob, remember my words, observe the commandments of Abraham your father. Separate yourself from the nations of the Gentiles. See that? Nations with an S on it are the Gentiles. That's Japhet. Genesis chapter 10. All of them. And do not eat with them. Do not immaculate their works. And do not associate with them, because their works are unclean. And all their ways are pollution and an abomination and uncleanness. That's because they come from Cain's sins, from the serpent, from Lucifer, right? 17, they offer their sacrifices to the dead, and they worship evil spirits, and they eat over graves, and all their works are empty and nothingness. 18, they have no heart to understand, and their eyes do not see what their works are, and how they go astray by saying to a piece of wood. See this now? Remember what part of the curses is. He sent us to a people that worship idols. So look at this, 18. They have no heart to understand, and their eyes do not see what their works are, and how they go astray by saying to a piece of wood, you are my God, and to a stone, you are my Lord, and you are my deliverer. See, now they don't want us to know who the Lord of hosts is. Now we see why the Lord of hosts is taken out of the scripture. So it says, you are my God. See that? Ale. And to a stone, you are my Lord, and you are my, because the stone and the wood have no heart. Now let's go in and see just how big this is in the book of Jubilees. Now let's go to in the King James to Deuteronomy 28. I mean, Deuteronomy 20, everybody supposed to know what the curses is.
Right.
That's how they woke up. So, I mean, Deuteronomy 64. 28 verse 64.
Okay.
And the Lord of hosts, shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
And stone. Come on.
That's the Gentiles. That's the Gentiles. But you can't, you were not gonna connect that dot, because they didn't sidebar the book of Genesis. They didn't downplay it to you and cast it down where you don't want to read it. So he's telling you point blank, when you got to understand it's the Gentile. I'm gonna send you over here where the Gentiles is. He ain't dropping no Gentiles in nowhere. So that means you got to counsel all 4 of them journeys Paul took.
Yeah.
Come on. So let's go back over here. Got to get it out your head. So we still dealing with the Gentiles. Let me go to this other One more places, then we're gonna start working on closing out. I'm in chapter. I'm in Jubilees. You got the book. Jubilees chapter 24. I'm starting at verse 16. Let me see. So let me see what chapter I'm in. Chapter 24. Chapter 24, I'm starting at verse 28. It says, on that day, cursed the Philistines and said, on that day, Isaac cursed the Philistines and said, cursed be the Philistines to the day of wrath and indignation from among all nations. My God, make them a disdain and a curse and an object of anger and indignation in the hands of the Gentile sinners and in the hands of Kitchen. So when you understand who Kitchen is, that's one of the sons of Japhet over in Genesis chapter 10. So 29. Whoever escapes the sword of the enemy and Kitchen, may the righteous nation root them out in judgment from under heaven. See, he telling us in Joshua to root them out. But they didn't told us over here, the Most High didn't brought them in. But he telling us to root them out. So he says, from under heaven, they shall be, look at this, they shall be the enemy and the foe of my children throughout all generations. So you got to ask yourself how he drafted them in. So 30. No part of them will remain, not even one shall spread or be spared on the day that the wrath of judgment. The offspring of the Philistines will experience destruction, rooting out, expulsion from the earth. And this is all that is in store for them. There shall not be a name or an offspring left. So what's going to happen? They're going to get this going to happen, or they're going to get drafted in. So he says, left on the earth for these the Capron, the seat of the Philistine state. These Capron was giants, is where they ascended from. Said, for though he rises up to heaven, and he shall be brought down, and though he make himself strong on the earth, we're looking at that right now. He made himself strong on the earth, but there shall he be dragged out, and though he hide himself among the nations, he didn't did that. I told you there ain't none of Noah's son. He hid himself among the nations. He ain't none of Noah's son. Even from that place shall he be rooted out. Though he descend into the abode of the dead, his condemnation shall be great, and he shall have no peace there. If he goes into captivity by the hands of those that seek his life, they shall kill him on the way to his imprisonment, and neither his name nor offspring shall be left on all the earth. Even an eternal curse shall she depart. It is written and engraved. Look at this. It is written and engraved concerning him on the heavenly tablets, that on the day of judgment he will be rooted out of the earth. Don't sound like he got drafted into me. So I got one more, and you'll talk about it and close out. Let me get it. Okay, so I'm on chapter 30 of Book of Jubilees. I'm gonna start at 13. It says, "Is a reproach to look at this. We Israelites over in America, right? So don't forget that. It is a reproach to Israel that anyone that take the daughters of the Gentiles, for this is an unclean and abominable. This is unclean and abominable to Israel. Israel will not be free from this uncleanness. You see that? Cause you over here today ain't got a shining car with 20-inch rims on it. It still ain't working. It says not be free from this uncleanness. It is okay. Let me read it again. Israel will not be free from this uncleanness if it has a wife of the daughter of the Gentile. If he have a wife or daughter of the Gentile, or has given any of his daughters to a man who is also a Gentile. That would be that. Now you go to the problem right here. You say, want to know why we getting shot down in the streets and all this crazy stuff happening. There will be a plague upon plague, curse upon curse. It's on top of Deuteronomy 28. A curse upon curse. And every judgment and plague and curse will come if he does this thing. See that? Come on now. So they say, or if they ignore those who commit uncleanness. So if you see somebody else doing it and ignore it. See, or defile the sanctuary of the Lord, or those who profane his holy name. If any of these happen to the whole nation together, will be judged for all the uncleanness and profanation of this man. There will be no judging people by their position, no receiving of fruit or offerings or burnt offerings or fat or fragrance or sweet odor from his hands. It will be unacceptable. And so warn every man and woman in Israel who defiles the sanctuary. For this reason, I commanded you, saying, give this testimony to Israel. See how the Shechemites and their sons fared. See how they were delivered into the hands of 2 sons of Jacob, and they killed them under torture. It was counted to them for righteousness, and it is written down to them for righteousness. The offspring of Levi were chosen for the priesthood and to be Levites, that they might minister before the Lord. See that? It's plain right here, what I just showed you. These the witnesses that the Lord was talking to in Isaiah 43, that they might minister before the Lord as we do continuously. Levi and his sons will be blessed forever, for he was zealous and executed righteousness and judgment and vengeance on all those who arose against Israel. So they, let me see, okay. So it says, so they wrote a testimony in the favor of blessing and righteousness on the heavenly tablets in the presence of the God of all. We remember the righteousness that the man fulfilled during his life throughout the years, until 1,000 generations they recorded. It will come to him and to his descendants after him, and he has been recorded on the heavenly tablets as a friend and a righteous man. All this account have I written for you, and have commanded you to tell the children of Israel. This is the Lord of hosts talking. All this account I have written for you, and have commanded you to tell the children of Israel, so that they will not commit sin, nor transgress laws, nor break the covenant which has been ordained for them. They shall fulfill it and be recorded as friends of God. 22. But if they transgress and work uncleanness in any way, they will be recorded on the heavenly tablets as adversaries of God, and they will be blotted out of the book of life. Instead, they will be recorded in the book of those who will be destroyed, and with those who will be rooted out of the earth. Okay?
That's Joshua chapter 30?
That's Jubilees.
Oh, goodness. I got the wrong. Okay, thank you.
So there's any comments, questions before we close out?
Okay, so wasn't that Levi? Levi. Who was that? Levi and Simeon.
Oh, yeah, that was during the time when those guys raped their sister.
Exactly.
Right.
So what they did, I mean, Jacob was upset that, thinking that everybody around him, the other people was going to be, what do you want to say, against them for doing that. And they were. But so it was just what they did, obviously, because it's right there that Levi.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm trying to get some clarity here on that. Okay, that's a question.
Okay, so can you say it again? I ain't grasp it.
I know I messed that up. Okay, so in other words, when Levi and Simeon, and I think it was one of the others, went against those others for when they wiped out the guys after they circumcised them. Remember they,
Right.
yeah. Okay, so they were just when they did what they did. Basically, is what is how this reads. I mean, though it didn't mention that particular instance, but
yeah, he said they was accounted to them for righteousness because it was the zeal of the Lord of hosts that done it, because of it goes back to this law right here about dealing with the Gentile. So they defile their sisters. So what they done when they killed every man in that town, it was accounted to them for righteousness.
Right.
So and so the same thing is when you go to Phinehas. If anybody know the story, when he ran a spear between those two Gentiles that they brought into the temple, he ran a spear through the man and the woman.
Right. Yes.
And the Most High said it was accounted to them for zeal.
Yes.
For zeal. So like I said, for you get it wrapped around in your mind, it's a light years in between Yahweh and the angels. It's light years in between the angels and man. It's light years in between the woman and the man. It's light years between the kids and the woman. It's light years in between the Israelite and the Gentile.
Come on.
Ain't no same people. Ain't no one blood. We come from two different origins.
Right.
And that in itself killed JC. Yeah. So somebody want me to read Jubilees 22 and 21:20. Jacob, be warned, do not take a wife from any offspring of the daughters of Canaan, for all his offspring are to be rooted out of the earth, because of the transgression of Ham, Canaan heir, and all his offspring shall be destroyed from the earth, including any remnant of it, and none springing from him shall exist except the day of judgment. So, that's a doozy. I'm glad you asked me to read that. So let me go all the way in on that. Cain and his descendants, Japhet, they ain't none know his son. They came from an angel, Lucifer. Canaan, same thing. That's why he's saying that. That's why both of them go hand in hand. You gotta put them in the same jar. That's why he's saying that. So it's not Ham that the European and told us slept with Noah's wife and got Canaan. It was Japhet that slept with her. So, and how you get your understanding is, let me give it to you right quick. This how you get your understanding. Right here. Here, we go to the book of Jubilees, Adam and Eve. Right there.
What is that, Leonard?
That's the book of Adam and Eve.
Okay, that's in addition to the lost books?
Yeah, it's another book. It's right here. Let me show it to you right quick. See that? That's the book of Adam and Eve. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I'll read this right quick. I'm in Genesis chapter 5. Like I said, they did a number on us. Genesis chapter 5, verse 1. This is the book of the generation of Adam. This is the name of the book. It ain't Genesis. Chapter 5, verse 1. This is the book of the generation of Adam. All right? Come on. Here you go, right here. They did a number on us. So they didn't ostracize this. Okay. So let's yeah.
Can I ask a couple questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Did I understand you to say that Michael has a book?
Well, he's the one in Jubilees. He's the one doing the talking. They was on Mount Sinai when Moses came up there. So what you have to understand, when Moses went to the Mount Horeb, he met Michael there. Michael came from Mount Sinai, where he dwelled. He dwelled on this mountain, like all the rest of the angels dwell on mountains. That's why the Israel the whole time they was in the land was going up in these mountains, in these high places, worshiping other angels. Els, not God. They worship other Els because they're on other mountains. That's why he ticked off. So when you understand that, like I said, that's the what was the question?
The question was, did I hear you say Michael had a book?
Yeah, so Michael went back to Egypt and brought Israel to the mountain, to his mountain.
Yeah.
Right? And then when they got there, Yahweh came down on the mountain. That's why the mountain was quaking. And then he told Moses, come up here in the cloud where I'm at. When he got up there, it's Yahweh and these 7 angels that from the beginning, the order that was up there in the cloud. Then Michael dictated to Moses. Moses wasn't but a certain amount of years old. So Michael, the Lord told Michael, tell him all that happened from the time Adam all the way up to now.
Right.
That's Jubilee. That's Michael dictating to Moses what happened.
Okay.
Right. So let me you know, you might think I jumped out the back of a watermelon truck. So it says right here, I'm in Exodus.
Exodus.
Let me get it right quick.
Okay.
So I'm in Exodus chapter 24. And so I just told you that when Yahweh went up there by himself, that the mountain belonged to Lord of hosts. It was given to him in Genesis chapter 10 when they came down and scattered the languages. So it says, chapter 24 of Exodus, I'm in verse 9. Then went up Moses, Aaron, Nabal, Abihu, and the 70 elders, 10, and they saw the God of Israel, right? And I told you he on the top of sapphire stone. Michael ain't on top of no sapphire stone. He says they saw the God of Israel, this Yahweh, the God of Israel, and they're under his feet. He telling you this for a reason. Under his feet, as it were, the paved work of a sapphire stone. That's Yahweh. He came down on Mount Sinai in a thick cloud. And as it were, look at it, and as it were, the body of heaven in his clearness. That's the other 7. There he is on Mount Sinai. So what is Jubilee talking about? He telling you point blank. He just said Yahweh told him he was on the sapphire stone, and he calls to the angel of his presence, the Lord of hosts, and told him, take to Moses all that happened.
So the Most High on the stone, on the sapphire stone, is speaking to Michael and telling Michael to speak to Moses.
So like I said, man, and when you look at that, you can't make 2 1.
Right.
It's a being on top of the sapphire stone, and there's a being talking to him. He talking to somebody else. He ain't talking to himself. So let me show them, because people probably listening to this I ain't been in the presence of this understanding. So I'm gonna go right quick to show them this. This for everybody in YouTube world. Right quick. Ezekiel chapter 1.
Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 1.
Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 25. This when Ezekiel saw Yahweh in chapter 1, verse 4. I'm gonna show you the cloud again. Yahweh come in the cloud all the time. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud. So Michael come, he ain't no cloud. It's 2 different beings. And a fire enfolding itself, and the brightness about it, and out of the midst thereof came the color amber. So anyway, you get to 25. And there was a voice from the firmament that was over their heads. That's over these 4 angels' heads that's carrying this throne. Ain't no UFO. It says when they stood and had let down their wings, and above the firmament that was over their head was a likeness of a throne. This is the same throne I just read in Exodus chapter 24, as the appearance of a sapphire stone. See that? Upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness and appearance of a man above upon it. And then he tell you what he looked like. And I saw as the color of amber, as the appearance of fire round about with it, from the appearance of his loins even upward, and from the appearance of his lowers even downward, I saw as they were appearance of fire. And he had a brightness, so ain't no flesh, nothing on him. You pure fire. So this the person came down on top of Mount Sinai. That's why Mount Sinai quaking and melting and doing the do, because he on there. And he called off the sapphire stone to the angel of the presence, Michael, the Lord of hosts.
Yes.
And told him, tell Moses everything that happened, because you've been there with me all the time. Ain't nobody hidden no bush nowhere. And tell Moses all that happened up until this point. That's what the Tanak is. I mean, the Torah, first 5 books of the Bible. He telling Moses, and Moses wrote it down.
Okay, so say that again. The Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible, is the Most High talking to
the Lord of hosts.
The Lord of hosts, and the Lord of hosts giving it to Moses.
Right, Moses wrote it down.
Okay.
And nothing new under the sun. Enoch was in heaven, in the book of Enoch, and he was a scribe because he round all these elves. He round all these angels, so he a scribe. He ain't nothing else but a scribe. He in heaven. So he's a scribe of heaven. And he wrote down everything he saw, everything these angels told him. The eternal beings. And he brought that to the earth. So I don't know about all these other Hebrew Israelites or Hebrews, whatever you want to call them, but I'm running, I'm jumping over the World Trade Center trying to get the book of Enoch. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm gonna save some of my questions for Friday night, but what you said something about the circumcision of the angels. What exactly were you saying?
They was created and formed, already circumcised. That's why we circumcised. That's why the males down here circumcised, because they circumcised.
Where can I find that at?
That's in Jubilees. I just read it.
Yeah, what you read in Jubilees.
Let me see.
And the circumcision of the angels, just as the circumcision of the Hebrew Israelite man, is an indication that they belong to the Most High.
Right, and they under a covenant.
Okay.
It's a sign of the covenant you got with them.
Okay. I'm gonna ask one. I'm gonna just put forth one more question, and then you can give me the scripture. We are to understand that the Gentiles are descendants of Japhet.
I tell you that in Genesis chapter 10.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to give you that verse because I wrote this the way I wrote it down. I didn't write it down by.
Right. That's what I said. I can get it on Friday, but so I'll ask the rest of my questions on Friday.
Right. So what the last question was?
The last question was, do we understand that the Gentiles are descendants of Japhet?
Genesis chapter 10.
Okay.
Right. This the point. This the thing about it. Where I mean, we at the end, and the Most High said He's gonna help us. And so when you lock into these books and get the proper understanding, it's plain. So I'm in Genesis chapter 10.
Okay.
Verse 2, the sons of Japhet, Gomer, Magog, Midian, Javan, Tubal, Meshach, Tyrus, the sons of Gomer, Ashkenazi, Rephath, Tomagog, the sons of Javan, Elisha, Tarsus, Kitchem, and Dedom. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided. See that? Point blank. In their lands, everyone after their tongues, after their families, in their nations. So the way they didn't concocted this, you ain't read the book of Jubilees where the angel of the Lord telling you point blank who these people are.
Right.
He said he don't want us dealing with them. They're an invasive species. Something wrong with them. And so you have to understand, once you understand that, then you got to find out why is the Most High saying that. Then you go back and, like I said, in verse 2, Genesis 10 and 2, you got Tubal. Who the hell gonna name their son Tubal? Unless they tied to Tubal.
Right.
Then you go to Genesis over here in chapter 4 and verse 16, Cain's descendants. And you see in verse 22, Zillah, she also bore Tubal Cain.
Right.
So the word etymology, Tubal is out of the lineage of Cain. That's what the
Right.
word means. So anywhere in this book or any other book, in the book of Moby Dick or wherever you want to look at, if you see Tubal, it don't mean but one thing.
Out of the lineage of Cain.
Lineage of Cain. So when you go over here to chapter 10 and you see Japhet, they trying to tell you Japhet Noah's son, it tell you right here. The sons of
Japhet.
Magog, Midian, Japheth, Tubal.
Yes. Uh-huh.
I tell you right there, that's Cain's descendants. Then 38, Ezekiel, we're gonna close.
Ezekiel 38.
38, yeah. This so he all through the book. But like the angel of the Lord told them and told Moses in Jubilees, they gonna hide themselves.
Mm-hmm.
He gonna drag them out in the open.
Mm-hmm.
They hid themselves in the scriptures. So I'm in Ezekiel 38. He says, verse 1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against God and the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach, and Tubal,
Mm-hmm.
and prophesy against him.
Right.
When Cain came up on the altar to make his offering, the same Lord of hosts was against him.
Mm-hmm.
He was against people in Genesis chapter 10, and against these people. Cause they ain't they ain't got nothing to do with him. They ain't nothing Noah's son.
Mm-hmm.
They hid themselves in the scriptures.
Right.
These
Okay.
slick scribes they got, like Josephus and Sir Francis Bacon and Philo of Alexandria.
Right.
Scribes, super scribes. Right, okay. Anyway.
Okay, I'm gonna say the rest for Friday.
Okay. Anybody else got anything before we go? Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, let me bring this up right quick. Let me see. Yeah, so I'm getting ready to do that uncomfortable conversation 12. And you know I gotta get these
images
and stuff, and you know what I'm saying? So if you guys get some help, there goes my cash app right here.
Okay.
So I mean, you know, yeah.
Every little bit helps.
Every little bit helps, you know what I'm saying? So,
okay.
Yeah, so just, you know, if you can, you can, you can't, you can't. So I'm hit you with this line. I'm gonna say shalom to everybody. Yeah. Okay. Shalom.